Welcome to the Den, the Dingus Den.
Hello, everybody, for a new episode of the Daily Dingus. There we go. We are live and looking great here. How are you doing today, Comic?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing excellent.
Yeah?
Friday, it's nice and funny. It's the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a cool day, nice chill day, and it's
Yeah?
fun to just end it with you guys talking about comics and everything. It's
Absolutely.
looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, we have lots of fun news to get into, so we'll not hesitate to get right into it since there's a lot to get into, honestly. And so, but yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Before we do get into that stuff, though, let's greet everybody that's in the chat. We have Castro for the Comic Cons podcast. Good to see you here, as well as
Right,
Matthew Coburn.
how's it
Thank you all
going,
so
Larry?
much for being here as we sort of put together this, I guess sort of odd-timed thing, fit with your time and not the usual day I want to do it on, because I'd like to, going forward, to more be like a thing on Mondays, but in
Yep.
America, Monday here was a holiday, and then I was like, you know what, I should still do one later this week, so
You have your holiday on next week? Okay,
it
we've
was it
just had
was it
ours.
was Monday. This Monday was
Yeah.
Memorial Day for us, so.
Wait.
But yeah, so we got lots of stuff to talk about. Before we do get into the topics, something I do like to get into is if there's anything that you read recently that you'd like to highlight. I've read a bunch of like different single issues recently. All sorts of different just stuff from my pull list. There's all the free comic book day stuff I got, all sorts of stuff from last that I've actually checked out reading since the first episode of this. And I'll say one thing that stood out to me that I honestly might make a video over because it's really cool was there's a Doom one-shot that came out. I meant to grab it and I forgot, but there's a Doom one-shot written by Jonathan Hickman, and fantastic art, lots of great stuff done there. And so,
Wow.
yeah, it was just a great one-and-done story right there. So,
Trying to see if I can find it.
you have to check
Good
it
to
out.
read.
But yeah, is there anything that you read recently that stood out to you that you'd recommend
Yeah.
to?
Yeah, there's a lot of one shots as well. I mean, not one shots, but single issues. I'm catching up. I got like 20 to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
But I read recently because I'm reading a series called Feral, which I've talked to you about,
Yes.
which I think is really awesome. And I've just recently yesterday read through the whole graphic novel of I think the first one called Stray Dogs. Yeah, Stray Dogs. And it's a fantastic little story. It's only like 5, 6 issues, and
Yeah.
Feral is it's all about these dogs. Stray Dogs is about these dogs that live in this man's house, and the man turns out to be a kidnapper. And
Mm-hmm.
these dogs, it looks like a Disney cartoon, and it looks all nice and animated, but it's a horror story. So it's all these like cute dogs talking, but they're inside a horror story, and it's a fantastic read. Simple, but fun, and quite scary
Yeah.
as well. It's great, yeah. And I've been reading Fantastic Four, caught up with that, the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been reading issue 20 of that.
I think 20. I think it was 20 that just came out.
Yeah, where the Thing and Johnny Storm are working in a
That was
supermarket.
funny.
It's a fun read, yeah.
It was
And
fun.
just, yeah, I like how these ones are just like normal situations. Like each issue is just like the one before that was like film noir story.
Right.
It was all black and white, and this one is just them just having fun. It's great.
Well, I think it's a great way to sort of bring like a modern interpretation of what Fantastic Four was, because a lot of those classic Stanley issues were much of the same idea and stuff there, and so that was really cool, I think.
Yeah, it's cool.
bring it
Not
back.
that it's not bogged down by a lot of continuity. It's
Right.
there's stuff in there, but you can just delve into the story, and it's like it starts there and ends there. So you could, even if you just come into it, you can pick up that issue. Because I came into it quite late. I think I started on issue 14, and it was the one
Yeah.
with the dinosaur Marvel characters.
Those were
Which
cool. I liked those.
those they're so good. I didn't expect there to be like a Doctor Doom one, and I don't know if it's been in past issues before, but it was
Oh.
just like, okay, wow, there's dinosaur versions. So there's Pet Avengers
Dinosaurs.
and dinosaurs. Yeah, it was great.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Like, what more do you want sometimes? We're the dinosaur Avengers, you know? Contrary to what some certain people might say in the chat here, Castro, you know, dinosaurs are awesome.
Yes, they are. Yes, I agree. Dinosaur and Marvel mixed together well. Yes,
Right?
it's great.
And so that was
Mhm.
cool. And so, yeah, no, those are excellent recommendations. So go check out Feral, Stray Dogs, and yes, the new Fantastic Four. The one I actually have read of those. That stuff has been really good. So,
Yeah.
all right, well, let's just get right into talking about
Mhm.
everything that we're covering here. First
Okay.
thing first, there's this little trailer that we have here. Oh, I just realized, didn't do something here, but, yeah, hold on. One moment,
Mhm.
everybody, as I fix something here. But, hold on. Why is it being annoying? Oh, that's why. I forgot to do something, everybody, so we're doing it live. There's one thing with your setup I forgot to change, so,
Ah.
there we go. So, anyway, what we have here... Oh, why is it not showing? One moment. But anyway, as I get this figured out, our first topic here, we're going to go right into the world of DC. I feel like DC doesn't put out as much news overall compared to Marvel, but
Mm.
we still do have a bit to talk about. Some DC stuff to talk about. One of them is the main sort of thing here that we will be covering here. And so, oh, that's why I didn't change over to there is why. Here we go. Okay. So, beginning with DC here, though, we do have, we have this little special Elseworlds trailers. They're bringing back the Elseworlds imprint. We see it first begins here. They're bringing back Gotham by Gaslight in a new series there known as the Kryptonian Age. We then have this one I'm really excited for. They're bringing back Dark Knights of Steel with All Winter, with a new Deathstroke, where it focuses on Deathstroke as a Viking there. Like, just look at that. It looks awesome.
Epic.
We are also going back to more DC versus vampires. We'll be talking about a little bit more of that here in just a minute. But World War V, so sequel series that we're getting. We're also now getting Batman the Barbarian. I'm not I don't I'm not certain if this is tied into anything there. But we have that. Is the browser and then we see here Batman Nightfire. There's a Green Lantern Dark there that I missed there. So much awesome stuff there. We got this big trailer showcasing 6 new Elseworld series coming out. Gotham by Gaslight, the All Winter, which I'm definitely going to check out that one at least. DC vs. Vampires, Batman the Barbarian, a Green Lantern Dark, which I'm very intrigued by, as well as Batman Nightfire, so we'll see. Not much is really known besides what was shown in that trailer. But
Just a teaser.
yeah,
It's cool.
it was just a little teaser there, absolutely. And so, even though we don't really know too much about those, is there any of those that sort of like caught your eye?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
There's it's the whole barbarian stuff. Is I'm really looking forward to. I didn't know any of this until obviously you told me about it yesterday.
Sure.
But it's cool that they're bringing this great big thing Elseworlds. I've read Gotham by Gaslight. I'm looking forward to them returning to that. I think it's going to be great.
Yes.
There's lots of big epic stuff. The artwork looks incredible.
Mhm.
I have to say, they're really selling it. It's making me think I'm gonna have to spend some serious money on these. I don't know if they're connected, like you say, but
Yeah.
it'd be fun to dive into that one. I think the Green Lantern one as well is they're all great, but I think the
Yes.
Batman Barbarian, just seeing Batman in that time zone. I don't know if we've seen him before in that time area, but just the artwork that I saw, it looks friggin' epic. Looks amazing. And we're getting
Yes.
Dark Knight's Metal, you said we're returning to as well, which I
Not
liked.
Dark Knight's Metal. It's
Oh,
Dark Knights of Steel, where it's like DC
my bad.
with
Right.
Game of
I
Thrones
get you.
kind of. I actually
Ah,
really enjoyed that miniseries though. That's definitely a recommendation I recommend everyone to check out. I thought
put
that
that
was
in.
really good, and so
Yeah. It's giving you a really good tease of what's to come, and
yeah,
it's just amazing. I mean, that we can get all these things in comic books. I mean, that's coming out, all these great Batman
yes,
crossovers, and as I think Gotham by Gaslight is one I'm looking forward to see more of that setting. It's yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Good
yeah,
teaser.
yeah, yeah. I
Excellent
haven't
teaser.
seen Gotham by Gaslight, but
Yeah,
or read it. I've been wanting to read it. I need to. I need to read that. I want to read the Doom that came to Gotham and all that. And so all sorts of
yeah.
stuff there to check out. And so, I
Doom
have to
that
find
came
it.
to Gotham, I wanna read. I've watched the film, but I have never read the series. I'd love to, even though
Yeah,
I've watched it, I would love to do it because I love that old Mike Mignola doing it, and then you got like Lovecraft
yeah.
monsters from another dimension mixed with
Hmm.
Batman. It's a good combination,
That's
I
cool.
think.
That's cool. Yeah, we also got here some other stuff here with uh World War V in particular getting details, which I know is one of those that's coming sooner. Yeah, available for pre-order. Just started this month for pre-orders,
Mhm.
and it's just continuing that big crazy vampire story. I've actually read the first 3 issues of the first one, and you see down here that they're advertising volume 1, 2, and then All Out War Part 1 and 2. Uh, so maybe this is actually so I guess this is the third series of this though.
Right. I've seen that at the comic book shop, the graphic novels of it. I think it was the graphic novels.
The
That first
collections.
image I've seen as a comic book, and I never picked it up. I never really thought if it would be any good but it's carrying on. I mean, you've read it. You liked it, SF? I've never read
The
it.
first couple that I've read there, I actually did
Yeah,
really like.
yeah. It
And so
looks amazing.
there's a
It's good.
highlight of a page there.
Yeah.
Really enjoying seeing us together. Why, thank you, Castro, and thank you for being here.
Thank you,
No,
Castro. I
but
Yeah.
yes. And so, yeah. I don't have too much to say about this one though because I haven't caught up with this story. But it's cool to see them
Mm,
continuing it. It's a cool premise because they did the what is it? They did what was it called? Deceased with the zombies like thing. Their take
mhm.
of DC's with zombies, and I really like that. I thought that was really good. And so,
Yeah, I thought that when I first saw it, I thought, oh, is it just going to be another copy of the zombies? We've had zombies, do we need vampires? But because I've read that as well, the
that's really
zombie
good.
one,
Those are really
the
good.
original. Because there's been a lot of spin-offs, hasn't there? There's been a lot of
There's
versions of
been
that.
like 2 spin-offs and 2 like mainline continuations of it.
Yeah,
I've read all
I've
but
read
the
some of
last
them.
one. So,
Oh, you're
uh,
ahead of me. You're ahead of me. I've only read the
I got
one.
the last one for
I've-
Christmas. I just haven't read it yet because it's one
Oh,
of those things I
nice.
added to my Christmas list of like I need to
Hmm.
read it because I need to finish off the trilogy and just
That's a
or finish
massive
reading the
list.
whole thing, right? Oh my gosh, my
Yeah.
comic files. You all don't want to know how they look sometimes.
I I understand there's a lot to get through. There's a lot to get
There's
through.
so
But I
much.
remember that when that came out though, it was this nice. I got this nice cover. It's like a black with the red on the side showing up. Nice, lovely hardback cover I got of that Deceased. It was nice to get into. It's a great read.
That's awesome. Oh, welcome to Ronnie J. Lucas in the chat. Good to see you here, Ronnie J.
I,
But yeah, we're just talking some DC stuff right now. Next up though, we have I'm gonna be honest, this one I kind of don't know how to feel about. Not
mm,
gonna lie. And that is we have
no,
uh Batman: The Last Halloween, and that's one of our main topics. I actually
Mm.
have on the thumbnail here, this picture here of it. And so, anyway, um, probably want to ask, like, why is it that you're sort of like, I don't know, you love Long Halloween? For anyone that doesn't know, Long Halloween is my favorite Batman story, and so why is it like, why am I not like kind of hesitant on this, right?
Mm.
Um, I first off, maybe this is a petty thing to complain about, but I feel like this logo up here is like super messy. I can't
Okay.
really see that well there. Let me see if if this shows up any better. No, not really. I can't really display it much better than it is right now. But there's like it just says the long Halloween, the last Halloween. And anyway, so what's cool here is that this is actually art from the late Tim Sale. He was the artist for um the Long Halloween and its sequel, Dark Victory. And now the writer of that, Jeff Loeb, is back to write the last Halloween to sort of finish off this trilogy here. And so, um, part of it for me, I think, is that maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I didn't really care for Dark Victory that much. Have you
I
read?
never read it. I never read Dark Victory. I have it. I had it. I started it, but I had a poor copy of it and it fell apart. So
Oh,
I don't know if that was an omen. I don't. It was telling me not
well,
to read it.
people like
Yeah,
it though. That's the thing, is most people seem to
yeah,
like it. For
yeah.
me, you have the whole point of the Long Halloween is that the killer kills on the holidays, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
I think it worked great for the purpose of that story.
yeah.
However, the gimmick, I'm calling this a gimmick, of that continued for Dark Victory, and I felt like by doing that same thing again, it kind of, what do I want to say? It kind of, the effect of what that did for the Long Halloween wore off for me. And that was a big
Hmm.
reason why I kind of just didn't like Dark Victory as much. Overall, it wasn't terrible, but like it wasn't nearly as good, or I didn't like it nearly as much as I did Long Halloween, which is by far my favorite Batman story. And so,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's great, great one.
yeah, it's a
It's
great
one of the
story.
most iconic. It's yeah. It's I think it was one of my first ones I read as well. I think
Yeah.
I think Hush I read first, and then I read the big graphic novel was one of the first ones. I read the single
Yeah.
issues, but never like a proper completed story. So I read that, and
Hmm.
it was awesome.
It's a great
I mean,
one.
it's a great one. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. I didn't know about this until you told me about it. I mean, it's been a while since they've dipped their toe into it. I mean, it could be. I'm thinking of it in terms of films. Like there's a gap between like
Yeah.
the next one, and sometimes in I don't know in comics, but in films that doesn't always work out when they could be turned. There's that major gap. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it would be. And obviously, we haven't got Tim Sale back on it, obviously, because he passed
Hmm.
away. So who's doing the art for?
That's a
Oh,
good
it's either
question. I
him,
was
isn't
just
it? It's, yeah. I don't know if he's is he did the
is
whole thing or did someone
artists.
else take over?
There's some different artists here that's listed. You have
Hmm.
Eduardo Rizzo, who worked on Flashpoint, Batman: Night of Vengeance. You have Klaus Janson, who worked on The
Hmm.
Dark Knight Returns, and Mark Chiarello, who worked on Batman Black and White. So solid lineup there, seems like.
Oh, some
Also
good stuff.
welcome in Steve from Rebel Rock Radio, as well as Cody, who plays Erie in the Red 5 Tavern. So check us out next week over on Red 5 Tavern, where we will be where I'm actually going to be running a one shot over there, Gibble's Cruise Askew. So give that a
Nice.
look next week, everybody. So, but welcome in, everybody. And so, but yeah, so for the last Halloween here, there's actually some interesting details here.
Hmm.
So from Jeff Loeb, he says, the last Halloween is Tim Sale's parting gift to me. Tim and I had already decided to tell this last chapter following Batman: A Long Halloween special, which is something they did a year or two ago. It was like a special, I think it was like a couple years ago. It was like a little thicker, like one shot that they did, and it was like a special anniversary of the Long Halloween. It actually wasn't bad. I actually did
Okay.
like that. And so he
Missed
says
that.
anyway, he's saying that serves as a prologue to this 10-part action-packed mystery. Tim's unfortunate passing put our plans for the series on hold. About a year later, after speaking with let's see here, Mark Chiarello, which is one of the artists, and Richard Starkings, our partners are on the previous partners of previous Long Halloween titles. They decided that the time was right to move on and to still do this as a tribute to Tim, who continues to be with us in spirit. The story concludes the war between the Freaks and crime families forever as Batman, Robin, and DC's most infamous Bat villains face off against Holiday, and secrets dating back to the Long Halloween special will be revealed. So that seems like
Okay.
a solid one right there, I feel like.
Yeah, and you got Jeff Loeb back, so if he's
Yeah.
come back after a time, he's must have a direction to go in.
I
And
wonder why it took him so long, because
yeah,
I don't remember, like, the Long Halloween, it's not like a really old Batman story, but, like, it's been out for...
while been
It's
out
been a
for
while.
a
I
long
want to say
time.
close to 2 decades. Correct me if I'm wrong, whoever might know what year it came out in, but, like, it's been around for a while. It's a fantastic story. Welcome in, fellow Redshirt Patrick.
Hi,
Good to see
Patrick.
you here. We are talking about The Last Halloween, which is concluding the Long Halloween trilogy. So, but yeah, but very nice. So,
Yeah.
one other bit of DC news we will be talking about, and that is we have DC 0-hour 30th anniversary special here. This I don't have too much to say on this because I have not read. Oh, Patrick says 1996 for Long Halloween, so even longer, right? So
Yeah,
I wonder when
nearly
Dark
3
Victory came out
decades.
then. So,
It's longer
but
than I thought. Nearly 3 decades.
yeah,
That's amazing.
that's a while. So I'm curious why it took him so long for this trilogy. All right, but yeah, next thing I pulled up here, this is some art for the 0-hour 30th anniversary. They're doing like a big special. Watch out. I was talking about how there's a special like anniversary one shot for the Long Halloween that came out, or special that they did. There is also they're now celebrating 30 years of the story 0-hour, which I know is also 30 years of that coming out. Which I know it's also connected to the oh my gosh, what is it called? I just thought of it. It's the Twilight something involved with Green Lantern, and so because that's the whole storyline with Hal Jordan, Parallax, and all that stuff there, and so. But yeah, I don't have too much to say on this, as I have not read 0-hour. It's something I'd like to read. It's on my long list of other stuff I need to read. That list only ever grows. So, but yeah, it's something I need to check out. But it's interesting that they're actually getting a lot of the
Yeah.
original talent back for that book. Ron Mars, I know, is attached to it. Who worked on that Green Lantern series? What was it called? Emerald Twilight is what it's called. And so there's actually some
Yeah.
really cool art
I'm
here
not like.
associated with its covers though that I actually really
Ooh.
like. Like, look at that. That's really nice. So, but yes, right, Castro, that artwork Castro show's great. This one's great here too. Yeah, absolutely great. And so, but yeah, I really don't I don't have much more about this just because I don't know I haven't read the story, but it's worth mentioning because that is a big DC story that has come out in recent not recent years, but just an overall continuity that does get talked about. So
Mm. I haven't read much of Green Lantern's one character I haven't really
mhm.
delved in too much. I mean, I didn't really know about this, and it's cool that it's being shown because it's an anniversary, so it must be a big
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, so it's
I
all
think the
tied
only one.
to. So 30 years ago, one of DCU's brightest heroes fell from grace, driven over the edge by his failure to save Coast City and save millions of people. In the famed Emerald Twilight storyline, Hal Jordan became Parallax in the wake of Coast City being annihilated. After that, he almost succeeded in refashioning the entire DC timeline and resetting reality restore his home in the 0 hour event. So, gonna have to
Wow.
check out Emerald Twilight and 0 hour before reading this then, as this special goes back to that. But yeah, writers Dan Jurgens and Ron Mars returns with an art team comprised of all-star DC talent to celebrate this landmark anniversary. Um, doesn't say much about what's actually going to be in this yet, I guess.
Mm.
So, but yeah, I mean, I suppose we'll see how they celebrate it. I suppose. Um, I mean, they're bringing the
Looks
original
good.
talent on board, so maybe it's at least something. We'll see.
Yeah, it looks
We'll
great though.
see.
It's good.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So that's it for DC stuff. We also have it's talking about anniversaries. Let's spend a little bit of time here to talk about a couple big anniversaries here. First off, we have the Turtles. Our favorite Turtles in a Half Shell is celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. Crazy to think about, right?
Yeah, it's a big,
And so,
big anniversary. I didn't know that was that old. I didn't know it was that. I've seen it on my comic book store window. They're making a big deal of it. There is a lot of merchandise, and they've got comics and stuff about it. It's exciting. I mean, I love Turtles. I love the TMNT stuff, and it's great that
yeah.
they're showing a lot of hype for because they're doing great now. I mean, every film they release, cartoon, comic, The Last Ronin was a
Mm-hmm.
great book. So yeah, so this is yeah, I'm looking forward to this. If there's releasing some new material and stuff, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so what I really like here is, so it's like a big special, I don't think they say how many pages it is, but obviously all these stories are going to be like little short stories that is probably just going to be, not many pages each, right? But
Mhm.
what I like here, though, is if you read all the stories that they're celebrating 3 stories from the Mirage comic book era, 2 stories from the IDW comic book era, one TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures, where 1 story from the Archie comics era, 1 story from the Image comics era, 1 story from the 2003 animated series era, 1 story from the 2012 animated series era, 1 story from the Rise of the TMNT animated series universe, as well as one brand new Kevin Eastman story. And so, like, that's other than Last Ronin that you just mentioned, which is getting its own sequel series now. That's like celebrating all the other big parts of Turtles here, which is really cool. I think.
Yeah,
Um, like I think it's a great way to have celebrate their anniversary there. I feel like, and so and you can see it too. I think whenever you look at a bit of the art here is too that's shown too, and just the different stuff here too. Like look at that art right there. It's just showing like that's your classic black and white look right there. You
yeah,
have for your different covers. You have celebrating all the different kinds of TMT, and so very nice. I'm here for
very
it
good.
though. I'm here for good Turtles too, because also something else Turtles is doing too, is they're starting a brand new. There's a big new series starting. Uh, it's still I believe it's still by IDW, but they're relaunching Turtles. The writer Jason Aaron is going to be behind it. Big industry writer, and so going to be interesting to see his take on the Turtles and what he's going to be doing for his first 4 issues of the series. Is that each turtle like the first 4 issues is each going to focus on a different turtle. So I believe the first issue is Raphael. Could be wrong. I don't remember the order beyond that, but I think he's the first one. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll be
It's a good
interesting to
idea.
see. Yeah, yeah,
Be good. It's one issue focus on one specific turtle. Be good. I
yeah,
love the black and white stuff. It just takes me back to the very first uh, issues.
yeah. The
I love the
relaunch
black and white
actually
stuff.
begins, and oh, it's actually there is an alpha issue coming out too that it sort of begins in. So I may have to actually check that out. So yeah. And there was also some more turtle stuff too that was shown off as well. Some more art of this was just revealed today as well. So, that's pretty cool.
Mm.
But I do like seeing all this different Turtles stuff being celebrated. It's very cool to see IDW giving so much respect, I feel like, to the Turtles here.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's great. They're going all out. They're going
Yeah.
really every aspect.
There we
of
go. There we go,
great.
yeah. Yeah, we'll just go through all this different Turtle art here. You know, there's one of the covers there. Laird Eastman cover right there. Pretty great there. We have... Here's some interior pages here. I mean, just look at the variety of, like... This is going to be, like, one of the main IDW stories right here. Here's one of your more, like, Mirage era stories, probably, or something like that, you know, going all classic black and white there. And then you have your classic 80s cartoon story that you get in there, too. And that's something else that they've been doing, is they've been doing the Saturday morning cartoon era line that IDW's been doing, that brings back the 80s Turtles and comics. And they've actually been pretty... I've read like 2 or 3 of them, and they've been really good. Of those that I read. So.
Never read them. I haven't read. I've seen them. They're always around on my comic book shop. I've never dipped my toe in the IDW stuff. I have, but never the Saturday morning cartoon stuff.
Yeah, I want to read more of the IDW stuff. I noticed that I could actually read most of those for free digitally. Something I noticed more recently, and so that I definitely really want to check that out. It's something that, you know, it's just a big read list that I have that I need to read more. I've been kind of slacking reading recently too, I feel like, so. But we have one other main anniversary thing to talk about, is Marvel. You know, the big Marvel is celebrating 85 years. And and their 85 years of Marvel 85th anniversary there, and there's the cover to it right there. Like, holy crap, that's
it's good.
That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, you have Spider-Man, Wolverine, 2 of the most influential characters right there, right on the cover, celebrating 85 years. Just judging from this cover, we'll see what the description here says in a moment. But just judging for the cover here, it seems like that does have some sort of special story to tell, right? You know, you have some sort of weird castle place in space here. You have, you know, of course you have your big Deadpool, Wolverine, Spider-Man there, but then you have some, like, smaller characters that isn't necessarily mainline Marvel characters. Like, Nightcrawler's big, but he's not necessarily mainline, and neither is Captain Britain there. But Miss Marvel's getting there, though.
Yeah,
I'd say.
it's good they're showing highlights to both big characters and the smaller characters.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's got their fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, it doesn't seem like they have much. We have a bunch of creators on it: Ryan North, Alan Davis, Christopher Priest, Mon Vellani. So there you go. That's the actress for Miss Marvel right there writing a story for it here.
Crazy.
And Ryan North is who, who writes Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four, yeah.
So, and the four feature exploits of the Marvel heroes of the Marvel Age are the stuff of legend. Half remembered but still celebrated, come with us now on a tour of the greatest museum in all the cosmos, on which the few surviving relics of these bygone days have been assembled. Each piece tells a unique story about the contest of champions and how it brought an end to the Age of Heroes. About the greatest triumph of Miss Marvel and the final secret exploit of Excalibur, and more. I mean, that's interesting.
Excalibur, yeah. So they've got a reason for having them characters on there: Marvel and Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel and Britain. Yeah. Oh, I like that cover too. It's a good cover.
Yes.
Oh, that's
yeah. Next thing. Yeah. We're going to talk about it. We've got Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood. This is something that Marvel's been going big into recently, right? All these different miniseries of not necessarily called Black Suit and Blood, but Black, White, and Blood. And so, they're doing a bit of a play on it with, obviously, Spider-Man's famous black suit here. and trying to see how bloody you can get Spider-Man here, which kind of odd because he's a very known to be kid-friendly character, so it's interesting, right? Like I think it works with like Venom, where they did it with Carnage, which worked great
Yeah.
with Carnage, and that was one of the first ones they did. But they've been doing several of these. They have a Wolverine one, Moon Knight one, Electro one. They just started doing it with
Really
Star
Daredevil?
Wars with Darth
Deadpool?
Vader and Darth Maul now. And there's also they just did one with Alien now
Hmm.
that just finished. So they've been getting big into it. And here's the next one: Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood.
Certainly an interesting choice. I think it's I could pick this up. I would at least pick the first one up to see
I,
what
I'm
it's
I'm
like. As
I'm
you said,
intrigued.
yeah, I am too. It's a different choice for instead of picking someone like Punisher or whoever they haven't done.
Ooh,
I
Punisher
don't know
would
if they've
look
done Punisher.
awesome. No,
Punisher would be good. Yeah, that would work.
Punisher would
That would
be
definitely work.
awesome in that, though.
But
And
this looks. I mean,
so,
I like the artwork. It's. I would definitely
mm,
check out the first issue of that to see if it's
so these
impossible.
Black, White, and Blood series, they're all anthology series, and we have in the first issue we see um an unforgiving story. First one's um they're wow, how obvious is this, or discreet you should say. It says an unforgiving story that sheds light on an iconic scene, but it talks about the writer returning to his masterpiece of Craven's Last Hunt. We also get Marvel Comics debut, an artist debut here. That's cool. Where it'll show Peter Parker's symbiote rip his heart out. Last vestige of the symbiote has stayed with Peter all these years, waiting for the right moment to tear Spidey down. And then was spine-chilling tale of Spider-Man being hunted. Now we can hope to escape when the danger comes from within. So,
Okay.
so anthology
Craven's
stories
Last
right
Hunt.
there.
Mm,
That we got. Very interesting. Yeah.
yeah, I'll put that on my list. I'll definitely
Right.
get that. I think. Yeah.
Next up, we got so I know they just sort of like concluded their main stuff that they're doing with Moon Knight. At least one part of Moon Knight, because when you read the description of this, it talks about Mark Spector dying. Spoiler alert. But here's is interesting because it goes into the idea of the other Moon Knights before Mark Spector. And you sort of like see this in the cover here, right? You see these different Moon Knights sort of right there.
Yeah.
Which I do actually want to read this current Moon Knight stuff because it seems interesting. And I've heard I think it's the same writer on all this too. That he's actually been doing pretty good like work on it. I've heard really that is really good. There's an omnibus of his main Moon Knight series coming out in October, which is cool. So yeah, it says following Mark Spector's death, the supernatural villain known as the Shroud rose as a darker, more vengeful Moon Knight. So it's actually a continuation of somebody being a new Moon Knight. My bad. Takes your readers back to the night it all started when the Shroud undertook his new mission and began enacting his unique and violent vision of justice. And then also Benjamin Percy, who wrote the current Wolverine run that just ended, as well as he wrote like X-Force that ended as well as he writes the Ghost Rider stuff that's going on too, which is the main stuff I've been reading from him, which is pretty cool. But it introduces an all-new Moon Knight from the ancient past, the Moon Knight of the Old Crusade. So that is who we were seeing here.
Yeah.
Forged in the crucible of a holy war, this mighty Moon Knight Crusader finds himself in ancient Egypt where he'll clash with one of the first mutants, Apocalypse.
Oh, okay. It's a good plot. Good story.
I'm intrigued.
Yes.
I'm intrigued.
Yes.
I want to read more Moon Knight, but this looks good. This looks
Yeah.
good.
I mean, yeah,
I
I
like
read
it.
the first issue of the recent one. I didn't pick up the rest.
The
just because I couldn't
what is it
really-
called? The one that had a title with it, right? Not the one that just said Moon
Yes.
Knight.
Yes, he had the subtitle.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
got the first issue of that, and he's been in What If Venom. I think there's a fifth issue with him in that the Venom series that they're doing. What if? You got
Yes, I
Wolverine.
am intrigued to check that out.
Yeah, I think the next issue is coming up with him. They just did one with Loki, and that was issue 4 or 5. I don't know how many there is, 5 or 6. So there's one more with Moon Knight. He seems to be wrapping it all up. So it's
Yes.
he's everywhere. Mr. Moon Knight is
Right?
yeah
And so,
popular.
yeah. Moon Knight's just been a character that's growing, which is cool to see, because he's one of those characters I've always found to be cool. But, I just haven't read much of, so... I definitely really want to read more of him. I think I'll probably go back and read this current iteration of Moon Knight, probably catch up on it. I'm gonna actually end up reading more stuff digitally using my Marvel Unlimited. Like, I'm still buying so much, physically, but I still want to read some of that other stuff digitally as well, Put good use to the digital subscription. And if it's something I really like, I'll go pick it up later, I think.
That's good. A good system as well, because there's so much as well. It's hard to get like
Spending so much every
sometimes-
month on just a single issues, it's kind of yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, something else that has caught my eye is we have Predator versus Black Panther, and this actually serves as a sequel to, or at least continuing the larger story arc that sort of began in Predator versus Wolverine. I've covered the first 2 issues of that here on the channel, so go check them out if you haven't seen them. But we have Predator versus Black Panther here. They're going at it here, and yeah. This will be interesting. We have some interior art there too shown off. Very interesting. Looks like we're having multiple Predators come mess with Black Panther here, so we'll see what happens.
Good use of color on the cover. I like the moon. I think it's the moon and the
Oh yes, the
purple
moon
sky.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an awesome
really good.
cover. I find it interesting of like Predator vs. Wolverine felt like a natural start for a mashup in between Predator and a Marvel character. I find it interesting of like Black Panther. I feel like kind of feels like as if it's kind of just going in like a bit of a different direction that people wouldn't really expect. Like when I first saw this, my first reaction I saw was like, "What? Okay, kind of not what I'd expect to go from, And so,
It is a different choice.
yeah, it is, and so I
I was
like it now.
yeah, I like it. I think maybe the only connection I can see is the jungle, like because
And that's a cool idea too, right?
yeah, it
And
fits the
Black Panther.
jungle setting.
Yeah. So I think there's some cool stuff too. Also, I noticed this new design on the Predator here too. Like that looks awesome. And so,
Does look really neat. Looks good.
yeah, it does. It does. It certainly does. So, we do have. So this is actually revealed in a exclusive sort of like interview that Gizmodo had with the writer, and so he was talking about just sort of this overall process of it coming together. The first question asked was, at what point did you know that Predator versus Black Panther would be your follow-up to Predator versus Wolverine? To which he says, you put all this creative poison into Predator versus Wolverine, so it became extremely gratifying to see the reader retail response. For floppies and collected trade, so the strong sales encouraged the idea of more. The first installment was about the hunt for a man. And so it made sense to elevate the stakes and make it about a battle for a kingdom. And that idea, I think, is very interesting.
Yeah,
continuing what's
that
there.
good. Yeah.
Let's see here. It says about writing a story that a rated movie series like Predator. Do you adhere to any canon? If you so do, like to talk about it or not. He says, those who read a vs. Wolverine know that I adhere to canon in a dancing between the raindrops kind of way. Is it officially canon? I honestly don't know, but I'm treating it like it is because I want people to feel like the storyline matters. Like the yada? Yeah, whatever. What I don't. Do you know how that predator species' name is said?
No.
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 Yada. I don't know if the G's silent there or not.
Yaka?
I have been in Sick and
Yacha?
Six all along hunting. So that's an interesting idea. I like his how he thinks about going through there. And he's So here, we heard the story includes some kind of Predator King in it. What can you tell us about him? What's the Black Panther story people are familiar with? The Battle of the Throne between T'Challa and Killmonger. I'm channeling something similar here, except on a cosmic scale. This Predator King has two sons who are at war with one another. Vibranium might be the weapon that determines their claim. That's very intriguing.
Makes sense that you got Black Panther, and if they're focusing on the vibranium, because then what they want for it, the Predators. But I would probably pick that up. I never read Wolverine versus the Wolverine versus Predator. I never picked it up.
It's
I've
worth
read the
checking out.
Predator Last Hunt. I've read that, and that was pretty good. Short, but good, decent.
Yeah. Wolverine vs. Predator was that way as well, like 4 issues, but it was a good 4 issues. It was a good read. And so I definitely think it's worth checking out. One other thing for this interview I want to point out too is that they're also for sure locked in for a 3rd story. So we'll at the very least have a trilogy of Predator versus. So who knows what'll be next.
Hulk.
Welcome Inubaldo, just drop it in to say hello. Good to see you here today. He says he's adulting today. How terrible. But you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So. But, good to see you popping in. We do have one other crossover to talk about. We have... Ultraman and Avengers coming together.
Not read Ultraman. Never read an Ultraman.
Well, Ultraman, they also had, they've been doing a bunch of Ultraman stuff in the comics, but Ultraman had all those older shows, and there's actually a new Ultraman movie coming out on Netflix in, I think, 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
And so I'm interested in the movie that's coming out. It looks interesting. I'll share it with you. And so, I kind of don't have so much say on it either, because Ultraman's never something I've gotten into. The idea of Ultraman, I think, has been cool. Ultraman's something I'm open to getting into, but not something that I'm like, holy crap, I need to go read it. This needs to go be my next read or on my horizon, but something that's like, I'd like to get into it eventually to check it out. And so, but I know they've been doing a bunch of different Ultraman series, and I don't know, I feel like you could probably read their Ultraman stuff on their own, just taking the idea of Ultraman, doing it in their own way. And so, but I think it's cool to see them having this team up here of Ultraman and Avengers together, because I think it's, Ultraman's very superhero-y, so I think it makes sense for them to come together. It's a more natural collaboration, unlike Aliens and Avengers, which is interesting, but I still want to check that out too. So,
yeah, they both got powerful characters bits together. It's and Ultraman looks like a superhero as well.
Yeah,
I think it's good fit. I'll probably read it down the line, but I'm like you. I'm not. It's not imperative. It's not something that's immediate for me.
So one next thing that we have here then is we have a couple of new series announcements here. We have Dazzler. We're getting a new Dazzler series, as well as a new Storm series. More on the Storm here in just a moment. But then they're also teasing here, tied to the Avengers, somebody new joining. From the Ashes, a new beginning for the Avengers. Saying specifically too that somebody's joining, and I don't have it pulled up exactly where they announced it, but who it is that's joining them, because I find it funny. They're making this big deal with this picture of like, who's new to the Avengers? Can anyone guess who? And then literally the very next day, they share it's Storm coming to the Avengers. And but we also have a new Storm series coming as part of the new X-Men relaunch here. So,
like the cover.
Yeah.
Purple seems to I like purple. The purple color just
purple looks nice. Purple has a very nice aesthetic here on the channel too. So
it is. That's true on your logo. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to checking out the new X-Men stuff. Steve here is in the chat's looking forward to checking out the new X-Men stuff as well. But and so we got some. It is a month or 2 from now. I know Steve knows the dates. I don't remember it right off the bat. Castro likes Ultraman. He says he has one of the coolest superhero suits of all time.
I think I remember it, but I've not watched. I don't think I've ever watched anything Ultraman either. I don't think I've seen anything of that.
I've seen the first season of the Netflix show.
I haven't even watched that. I forgot about that.
Something else that's going on big with Storm here is they're really highlighting this new design that she has. So that's interesting. I like the costume.
Yeah.
Not bad. I like it. So, Storm's never been absolutely one of my favorite X-Men characters, so I probably won't read this right away, but cool to see Storm getting more love. X-Men, the first one is so the first one is X-Men Begins on June 10th. New York X-Men, or it looks like Knicks, comes out June 24th. The new X-Force comes out June 31st. We then, on August 7th, is Uncanny X-Men. X-Factor is August 14th. September 4th is Exceptional X-Men. Wolverine is July, not June. Oh my god, you're right. Even farther away. July. So my bad. July 10th, July 24th. I was reading that wrong. Oh my gosh. July, not June.
It's a lot of X-Men.
So yeah, very soon. Very soon. July, August. I got the 2 months mixed up there.
X-Men everywhere. So
yeah, lots of X-Men stuff.
Content.
So, but yeah, we're getting more and more Storm stuff. Yeah, saying that they're building towards conflicts that'll shake the universe and all that stuff. So I don't know too much of what to think about this one specifically, but it seems like they're very much going into that they are, they're leaning into heavily that she is a Omega level mutant. Is something that they talk about here, so it'll be very interesting to see what they do with this. Because I think there's some great stories to be told when you have an all-powerful character, right? That powerful like Superman. There's interesting, some people are like, well, these characters are too powerful. How could you tell a good story if they could beat anybody? But then at the same time, there's a lot of really interesting like inner conflicts with those characters that can go on, and other parts of storytelling that I think that it unlocks when you have a more powerful character. So
yeah, you got the inner turmoil, the inner potential of the character, what they're going through. It's because it must have a huge bearing psychologically on them, to try and have a life, and then they've got this big responsibility. It's a lot of ways you could do a story like that. So yeah, it's,
yeah, and speaking of all these different X-Men stuff, where I like misread half the dates there, we also got several covers for other issues. So here's for issue 2 of the mainline X-Men series. Here's issue 2 for the Phoenix series.
Oh.
Here's issue 2 for New York X-Men series. And we got issue 2 for the X-Force series. And then we have issue 3 for the main X-Men series. Bunch of new covers revealed there for all that different stuff there. And so, me and Steve, actually on our first episode of this, we talked a bit about all this new X-Men stuff, as he's a big X-Men fan that keeps up with all these different ones. So definitely go back and watch that if you haven't. We spend a lot of time on X-Men the most there, and so definitely go check that out.
Is New York X-Men new, or is it a new series? I've never heard of that one, New York X-Men.
Yeah, the Knicks here. I don't know if that's been a team before, or if they've ever done anything with them on their own before. So I honestly don't know if that's new or not. I feel like if it is not new, it's something that's very not well known.
I've not heard of that
So
one before.
it could
Yeah.
be a new thing. I'm not 100% sure if they've been a thing before though.
Mm.
But I feel like it's one of those things where it happened. Okay. Steve says they're new. So, well,
Oh,
okay.
thank you. That's booking me. I don't know. Thank you, Steve.
So, good to know.
Good to know.
Good to know. But yeah, all sorts of new stuff there. Something else we got too is where you have a series of backup stories coming. Hold on, is there a checklist here I can find? Yeah, right here. You can see it right here. Of all these different stories coming of weapon extraction. So in the back of all these issues, part one's an Incredible Hulk that goes to Captain America, Fantastic Four, Spider-Gwen, Immortal Thor, Avengers, Spectacular Spider-Man, and then X-Men. 8-part back issue story where they're talking about, or backup stories I should say, where they're talking, it's going to be covering like something to do with Deadpool and Wolverine. And the big thing here is they're like, what stories can we put in to help promote the new movie? And so, right, exactly. And so,
Yes.
to go along with these backup stories that's going on, there's a bunch of movie-related covers attached to like all these different issues. And so, let me see here. Let's get it pulled up here with different ones there. So, that's like the main cover for the variant cover for this is like more for the story itself, but this is like the main cover that's gonna be a variant cover that's gonna be attached to Incredible Hulk 14. But then we start getting like the other sort of like more Deadpool and Wolverine covers here. You know, there says Deadpool and Wolverine up there, but you know that's the homage to that classic Wolverine and Hulk cover, Incredible Hulk cover there. And then there's the flip side of it for Fantastic Four 22. So,
Oh, Fantastic Four issue 22 of this. Oh, okay. Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
I'll probably have to end up getting that cover then.
right. And
Yeah.
so, all right, just taking care of little problem there in the chat there. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, Fantastic Four is there. There's Avengers 17. I actually really like this cover here. This is one of my favorites here. I love this one here. That's great right there.
That's a good one.
We have this one's great too. Deadpool and Dogpool, just kissing him on. That's the Thor cover there. Oh, this one's nice too, having Dogpool and Deadpool, Wolverine all there. Oh, this one's pretty great too. This is by, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember the artist of this one, but it's a big artist. Does it say here who it is? Ryan Stegman. And so, he's an awesome artist. But, yeah, Deadpool, Wolverine cover there. We have one more for X-Men issue 2. Do we just become best bubs? Nope. I do really like the art with like all these here though. That's pretty. They're pretty awesome. Pretty awesome, I must say. So, artist name is Castro? No, not at all. Nope, you're wrong, good sir. I mean, if you could do that good of art, please do share. That'd be news to me. News to me if you could do all that. So, all right. Well, we're just down to our final few topics. We've been flying through all this stuff.
Yeah. It's been a lot.
I will say though, I'm kind of not excited of it just being like all backup stories, and so it's like it's probably not going to make me read any of those. But you know, you can't knock the marketing for that because that's not bad marketing. I feel like they're doing to, you know, to help try to, I guess bring attention to comics through Deadpool and Wolverine in that way. So, but yeah, next topic here. Oh my gosh, this one I'm really excited for. And that is something that I have literally right on the thumbnail. is Wolverine Revenge, written by Jonathan Hickman and art done by Greg Capullo. Oh my gosh. What a matchup right here for a brand new Wolverine miniseries. And oh my gosh. And they're going all in too, is they've started doing something new called Red Band Comics. Do you know what this is that they just started doing with Blood Hunt?
Does that mean red band? Does that mean more violent or
Well, like,
something?
yeah, they'll have like the pictures more bloodied versions. So like
Yes.
here's your regular version, right? You have green blood, right? But then you go over to
Yeah.
the other one here, it's all more red and a little bloodier.
It's very red band. It's very red band. That's
Yeah. And so
what that means.
they've been doing that with they started doing that with their current big event going on right now is Blood Hunt, you know, the big vampire event that Marvel's doing right now. And they have red band versions of the main issues where the red band versions are more bloody. Castro brought up an interesting point here, saying that's why I prefer 90s anime as well. It was so bloody. So
Oh yeah, animes. 90s anime was good. Yeah, some
yeah.
good stuff.
So, but yeah. And so, Wolverine Revenge, I absolutely cannot wait for this. Because, like, just the talent behind these two. You have Jonathan Hickman, who, what I've read of his stuff so far has been pretty good. And Capullo is an amazing art. He's honestly one of my favorite comic artists out there is too. And so having Capullo come back to Marvel now to draw my favorite Marvel hero is just so exciting. So
Can't
absolutely.
remember. I've seen him. I've seen him on some. I can't remember what he drew, but Greg Capullo. But I have seen his work. I just can't. The name's familiar. I just can't. Yeah.
Dark Knight's Metal, Dark Knight's Death Metal. He did a bit of Spawn at one point. I don't remember the exact issues or off the top of my head, but he did a bit of Spawn. New
Yeah,
52
definitely talk.
Batman.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. All amazing work. What? He is going to draw gold balls? Sweet. Gold balls. Oh, that's funny. But yeah. Um, but yeah, Wolverine Revenge, 5 issues of pure oh my gosh, I can say this. Unadulterated.
Unadulterated.
Yeah, thank you. Gold Balls is your favorite character, right, Spencer? Is that the character I think it is? I mean, you know what? Screw it. I'll take Capullo to draw anybody in Marvel. Give him anybody. Give him a Gold Ball series for all I care for. Oh, that'd be interesting, actually. I know we're joking there, but like that'd be kind of interesting, actually. I'll take anything. But absolutely love Gold Balls. Not really. Don't really don't know too much about him. I know who he is though, I think. If it's who I think it is. But yeah. So we have on this though. Gold Balls. So yeah, Capullo's finally returned to Marvel. Doing better. Yeah, writing with Hickman's absolutely great. To celebrate, Marvel has removed the fences and let us off the leash to bring us the most vicious and punishing Wolverine story possible to fans this summer. So that is going to be sorry. Oh my god. Castro's saying that 11 gold balls over there. Oh my gosh. What is going on?
I
Of
thought it would be Castro. I thought it would be
course.
Castro. Yeah.
And then Hickman added here, well, obviously, such a privilege to work with a legend like Greg. Well, when we first talked about our project, our number one concern was taking the readers on a high-octane, no-hold-barred Wolverine story that was a proper celebration for both the character and Greg returning to Marvel. And like he said, the bosses cut us loose, and the results result in an absolutely wild book. Honestly, can't wait for everyone to check this out. And so it looks crazy. We obviously don't know much about the story itself yet, but as the cover showed there, it's Wolverine sticking his claws into a giant dinosaur, and I'm gonna be getting those bloody red band editions. They're gonna be glorious inside all that artwork there. And so this is one of the series I'm actually like most looking forward to. I am absolutely gonna have to check this out. Probably make a video over it because like I'm really excited for this. Like having like I'm more excited for this miniseries than the main Wolverine miniseries coming out. That me and Steve talked a little bit about on last episode. So, but yeah, well, do you have any sort of general thoughts on? I don't know. That's the end of all the Marvel stuff, I should say. And so,
Oh,
any
okay.
sort of overall thoughts on any of the Marvel stuff, that Wolverine in particular?
Yeah, I'll probably check out the Wolverine one. The one I'm looking forward to the most is the Spider-Man black suit and blood. Is it? Is that what it's
Interesting.
called?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm kind of looking forward to that, and all the X-Men stuff as well. Probably a lot of money, but I'm willing to read some of them. I think it'd be really good. And that Wolverine cover looks really boss. Looks awesome. Looks amazing. The colors. This
Yes.
brings me back to classic Wolverine.
Yeah,
Just him being in the
absolutely.
mouth of that creature, and him just staring at this at us. It's kick-ass. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. They look absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Kasher says anything Red Band he's for. Well, it's a new thing that they're doing, and it's been selling really well with Blood Hunt. I think actually the Red Bands have been selling maybe better than the regular edition of Blood Hunt, if I recall reading that correctly. And so, like, people are there for bloodier Marvel. And I think it's gonna work really well for this new
Wolverine.
Wolverine series too. And plus, just having one of the like I said, one of my personal favorite comic artists back there too. Like they're going big with it. So Casher wants Red Band Batman. Hey, we'll see if DC takes a note from Marvel there and
Yeah,
does something.
they
Well, that's
might
the
do.
thing too is DC's never really held their bars of like what do you want to say? I guess blood and that sort of adultery sort of stuff like Marvel has, right? Marvel, while they do have their more mature characters, they do always try to put on that kid-friendly face unless if it's something like, hey, it's Marvel Knights or whatever, you know? Or their new version of it now is that they're doing Red Band because like all their other Marvel stuff, like it's fairly like kid-friendly, I feel like. Check out.
Tame, yeah, bit tame.
Yeah, tame, yeah. No. Something else I quickly want to talk about here as we're into our last couple of topics here is that I want to talk about the. See, I don't know how well this is going to show here because I have to do it all through this. But, we have is an exclusive preview for Boom Studios issue 3 of it's the finale of because it's like these bigger issue like you know how like the last run was collected in bigger issues.
Hmm.
It's a story like that where it's collected in bigger deluxe issues. But you know how like DC's actually been doing them where they're like your bigger size book, like they're wider. Have you seen some of those on the shelf?
I think
Like they're like
maybe.
black level label series, but they're like thicker issues. And so, anyway, Boom Studios has been put out 2 issues of the series called A Vicious Circle, and they've been very slow with getting them out. But it's like the writers and artists like passion project there to them, and so anyway, it's only a 3 issue series, but it's been taking forever to get out. However, first 2 issues of it, they are amazing. And it's like I picked up that first issue on a whim, like, oh, this looks interesting. And I went to go check it out, and I've just been hooked. And I wish the art would show I could make the art bigger here, but this site does not allow for it to be bigger. Um but it's absolutely amazing work here that's they've been doing. Yeah, it's the artist Lee Bimeo. I honestly don't know how to pronounce his last name, but
I
he
know his
yeah,
work.
he did Batman Damned. He did a Joker like graphic novel sort of thing.
I
I
know
think
Damned. Batman Damned.
I think
Yeah.
that's his 2 biggest things that people would most likely know him for. And so, anyway, he does amazing work on this. The stories of this is just bonkers. Um, I kind of don't want to say too much about the story, but like, it's been an absolute great story that is absolutely worth checking out. It's really good, and so
I've never
definitely
looked. I've never
definitely go
watched.
check it out.
Never read this. Never even heard of it. To be there.
So,
But,
your IGN gives it a little bit of a good, sort of synopsis of
Yeah.
like what it's about, is that a vicious circle focuses on Sean Thacker, a futuristic assassin in pursuit of his rival Ferris. Both men are cursed with a unique ability. Whenever they take a life, they immediately travel backward or forward through time. Each new era is rendered by artists in a unique artistic style. The series traces their rivalry as Thacker fights to destroy a device that could alter human history, while Ferris seeks to activate it. So,
Okay.
I guess a little spoilery there, but like at the same time, yeah, it's really good though. So definitely go check it out. And so, highly recommend it. I guess at this point too, I don't know how easy the first two issues would be come across, especially since that first issue came out. It came out a while ago. I don't even remember when I got the second issue. It's been a long time since that second issue. So
It's probably hard to get now then. But I'll probably have to wait for the
for like a
they
trade.
do it.
Yeah,
Trade.
I'd say they'll definitely collect it in a trade. So definitely when that comes out, I highly recommend it. So definitely check that out. We have one other story here. Something that I'm looking forward to because it involves my another favorite comic universe that I'm a big fan of. And that's Spawn. My good old Spawny. But this time, it's with a brand new Spawn miniseries of Violator. Violator is getting his brand. So he actually had his own 3-issue miniseries back in like the 90s, but they're now bringing him back as part of the new Spawn universe, as you can kind of see under the image thing there. New Spawn universe. We're getting a brand new Violator series here, and I'm all here for it. So there's the main cover for issue 1 right there. Absolutely glorious.
It looks good.
I think here's some interior work here. So it's bringing it back down to like this has a very like classic Spawn vibe, I feel like, which I really like. Like look at that. It's so good. Or whatever. Like this just looks wild. I have no idea what's going on here.
It just
But
looks
like
glorious.
it looks great. And Castro said it best here. That artwork is just brutal 90s. Exactly. It just screams 90s. So it's cool to see Violet them bringing back Spawn to sort of like a feel, even though it's not focusing on Spawn, it focuses on obviously one of the biggest characters with Spawn. That's, the Violator here, bringing him to a very 90s spotlight here, to which I'm gonna say it's a prequel of sorts. Yeah, this is a prequel. Like, look at this cover for issue 2. Like, that's just great. I am the Violator. Exactly.
More purple.
And so,
More
yeah,
purple.
right.
I
No, I
think
like
too-
this cover more than the first one too. And so,
Yeah.
that looks great. That looks absolutely great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big Spawn fan. So, like anytime there's Spawn news, I'm absolutely gonna cover it here because Spawn's awesome. Give me some good old Spawn stuff, So, but yeah, like me some good old Spawn. So, but yeah, and I think we don't. Well, here, let me make sure there's no like sort of details here about Spawn's about this Violator series. Let's see here. Oh, it's actually called Violator Origin. So it's a mini series that launches in August. An award-winning writer Mark Andreyko features writing featuring an incredible lineup of artists. I'm gonna in a 6-issue saga that will reveal the mythos behind one of the most popular figures in the Spawn universe. So it's a big 6-issue Spawn or Violator miniseries here, right? See, Cody gets it here. Love Spawn. I love Spawn too. Absolutely great. Hold on. I'll have something to show you sometime, Cody. Don't let me forget. And so I absolutely love Spawn, and so here we see that Violator Origins is going to embark on a fantastic journey through time, revealing the long-awaited origin of the Violator. Story is narrated by the devious storyteller, Violator himself. It begins with his celestial inception, to his catastrophic descent into the fiery depths of hell, and ultimately his banishment to the mortal realm of Earth. So it's going to run through Earth's history while the violators are lurking there in the shadows, manipulating the course of events, and then ensnaring some of the most influential figures to ever walk the earth. And so with 6 extra length issues, so that's why these are actually more expensive, is each issue is thicker than your normal one. And each artist doing a different chapter, so each issue is going to have different art inside, which I think is interesting too. So it's almost like, so each issue is a different era of his life here, which I think is awesome. That they're doing here, and so I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I like the idea that they're doing the different artists for each issue. Will give a different flavor to it. I think
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, I think that would
yeah,
be probably I'm into Spawn, but there's a lot I've missed. But I think you could pick this up and not have
yeah. Like, as
to.
long as you know what classic Spawn is, I think this
Yeah.
is very easy to pick up and
Mm.
just go in it there. So, but yeah, um, That's it that I have for comic
Okay.
news today, though. Oh, we went through a lot here, so
There's a lot.
and good length here too. So thank you for joining, comic. Great having
All
you
right, you're
here.
welcome. Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Where can the people find you at?
So I'm on Twitch. I have my own channel, Comicbookfan. Same name, and I stream a lot of different games on there. I go for more retro games rather than new stuff. So I play a lot of Uncharted. I'm playing now, and so I
Yeah,
tend to play that more in games like Fortnite.
yeah. Go check out
You can
Comic's
find me on
channel.
the site called Letterboxd as well, where I review films and talk about movies and stuff as well.
Yeah,
And yeah, and I'm also on Twitter as well.
yeah. I just dropped your link to Twitch there, where I know you try to live stream at least like what every Saturday you try, and
Once a
so.
week, yeah.
Yeah, once a week on Saturdays mainly. So,
Hmm.
go
Thank you.
check that link and give them a follow there. Support our Twitch endeavors. And so
Hmm.
yeah, I'll be uh trying to work on more stuff here for Dingus Den with more of the comic stuff here. Um, I need to work really hunker down on editing part 2 of an X-Men video that I just put out a couple weeks ago. The beginnings of Chris Claremont's X-Men, and so
Oh, nice.
and I'm really happy with actually how that turned out overall, other than one part that I figured out how to fix. Just part of like the beside the point. Anyway, um, but yeah, that's been awesome, and so uh, keep an eye out for part 2 of that next week. I'm gonna try my best next week. You see, I'm putting my word out next week. All right, that's gonna help motivate me to get through me editing this. Of our Mutant Club, beginnings of Chris Claremont, where you could go check out part 1 right now, where me and Ian, good friend from Red 5 reading, where we're currently reading The Living Force over there, where we're reading The Living Force over there, but we were talking about. Sorry, I'm trying to get the link to that video actually. We were actually talking about the first 4. In part 1 here, we talk about the first 4 main issues of Chris Claremont's X-Men, and this includes giant size X-Men, and then it goes to which technically isn't written by Chris Claremont, but it's what kicks off. But then we cover the first 3 issues of the X-Men that follows that, which is what Chris Claremont actually wrote. And we'll be covering the 4 of his next ones. We broke up 8 issues, 4 issues in one video, 4 issues in the next video. So go check out part 2 when that comes out. As that is the debut to or the of the series called Mutant Club, which is like an offshoot of the main comic club stuff that I haven't really been doing as much recently, but that's going to be something else I'm going to be bringing back here sooner than later. I'm trying to get some of those lined up because there's some exciting stuff coming out this summer, like as we talked about, there's the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff coming out, so I think that would be awesome to cover at some point. There's some other cool stuff coming out from DC and Marvel this summer, so definitely keep an eye out for future comic clubs that I'm looking into putting together and doing. And so I'm possibly having you on for those too. So,
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
so
open. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And so,
you
just keep an eye out for whatever fun stuff that gonna be doing on there, and also check out the stuff that I do over on Red Shirts Remaster, where it's a joint channel between me and 3 other people. And so check us out on Red Shirts Remaster on YouTube, where we um we have our podcast there. We'll probably I guess we'll be back either this Wednesday or the Wednesday after. Not sure yet. We'll see. We'll be back some of those Wednesdays, one of those Wednesdays, because there is going to be a lot of gaming news for us to talk about, or at least cover somehow. Stay tuned on that. And so, and then there's also our Twitch streaming over in Red Shirts Remaster Twitch, so go check all that out. And last thing I want to plug too, I mentioned it earlier, but next Friday, a week from today, I will be running a D&D one-shot, Gibbles Cruise Askew, over on the Red 5 Tavern. So go check that out. That's going to be an absolute amazing time. And so, exactly. And featuring Cody here in the chat, where he plays Eerie. We're both barbarians. There's actually 3 of us barbarians. And so, we do we cause a lot of trouble. It's a lot of fun. So, but yeah. It's a lot of fun. So, but anyway, yeah, that's it. Thank you everybody that stopped by. It's been a good show today. Like I said, this is episode 2 of the Daily Dingus, where it's covering all sorts of new comic news that come out. Expect this probably being back in about 2.5 weeks, I'd say. And so, yeah, I'll see you all next time. So I'm here in the Dingus Den. Bye.
Bye.